You're listening to a new episode of Girl Down Podcast with your host, me, Ayon. So sit back, relax, and listen as I unpack the uncertainty of my 30s, one episode at a time. Hey, welcome to another impromptu episode of Girl Down Podcast with me, Ayon. And this episode should be real quick. This is going to be a follow-up to the episode that I did with my sis Paige on Benzino last week. Benzino, instead of fading back into obscurity, he is making his rounds trying to plead his case. Yesterday, I just watched the episode of Kandi Speak On It, her YouTube series, where she did a sit-down interview with Benzino. Shout out to Kandi. I love her down. Benzino, at this point, just really needs to be quiet. In my opinion, nothing that he is saying, nothing that he is doing, all of his antics, is making his case. Everything that he is doing, to me, screams, I'm insecure about my sexuality, and I'm going to act in the most violent, toxic, hotep way to try to distract from the fact that I am queer, that I am on the DL, and that you won't see me as gay, but everything that I'm doing is showing that I'm insecure about my sexuality. He went on Speak On It, Kandi Speak On It, and said how Shauna Brooks is lying. He's not a part of the community. His manhood is under attack. And what are you supposed to do when your manhood is under attack? And he feels like the black straight man. Nobody understands them and nobody supports them. And they're the most attacked. And it's like, also, the trans women, we're not really women. We're really men. And just... Benzino is not doing anything groundbreaking. He's not. He's just, like, we've seen this before, and it's actually really sad to, again, this is a 56-year-old man who you would think somebody that has gotten to that age is secure in their sexuality and that they have lived enough life to not care about what anybody else thinks of him or them. But this is why we say that masculinity is so fragile. These men try to make masculinity like it's this strong thing and it can't be touched and I'm a man, but the minute that somebody may think that you're queer or you're associated with the community, these men do all of these outlandish things to prove how quote unquote straight that they are. And to me, it's just really tired. It's really late, and I'm glad that we're in the time that we're in now, because I feel like specifically black trans women, have been visible enough, and we've been telling our stories enough that specifically telling our stories about our proximity to these type of men, that people are on to the bullshit. They're on to the con. And again, I just want to reaffirm that my thoughts are with Shauna Brooks, because Benzino has been on Twitter making threats saying that he'll go to jail and he's old enough, he don't mind being in jail for the rest of his life to prove his manhood. And it should never be that serious where your first thought is to get violent with somebody because you can't handle who you are. But the sad reality is that a lot of DL men who purposely pursue trans women for intimate relationships, sex, whatever, would rather go to jail for murdering us and killing us than standing up in the light of day and owning their attraction. So, no matter how honest we are, how right we are as trans women and trans femmes, we still run the risk of being murdered because of their ego and their pride, and that's a real thing. So I'm concerned about Shauna's safety. Also, I want to take a couple of minutes to read a lot of you butch queens that have been commenting. My thing is, if you don't have any breasts, you shouldn't really be speaking on issues that affect trans women. Like, if you don't have any titties, stay in your lane. Like, y'all, a lot of y'all gay men need to stay out of trans women's business. And this whole thing, well, if you're really a woman, why would you out? Like, first of all, what we're not going to do is try to be transphobic for you to make your point when there should be no point to be made, because you should be out of grown woman's business. Just because I decide to out a man who has played on my feelings and played with my emotions being violent to me, does not mean that I don't see myself as a woman, or that makes me any less of a woman. I'm outing the fact that this man likes a different type of woman, not that he likes a man. So keep all of y'all butch queens. It's no shade, but y'all need to, when it comes to trans women's business, if you don't have any breast, you need to stay out of women's business. To all of the trans women that are, oh, we shouldn't be outing these men, I'm not going to come as hard at y'all, because I get it, especially trans women that come from a certain generation where we had to keep secrets and that's just how we had to move. What I want to say is that we are in a new day. We are in a new day and time where trans folks are visible more than ever. And Black trans women, we want more from ourselves. We want more out of our life opportunities, and we want more out of our romantic situation. So it doesn't matter if you went into the thing and you knew that he was DL. When you catch feelings and when you have that type of emotions, and when men are intimate with you and they're telling you that they're going to come out and they're playing on your emotions, I'm sorry. You being outed, that's the risk that you take when you are a grown man and you purposely pursue somebody that is out in the T of the LGBT community, that's out living their life, minding their own business, which a lot of us do. We don't pursue. In my 33 years of living life and being a trans woman and being in the community, I have never had to pursue a nigga. These niggas go out of their way to find me, to date me, to proposition me for sex. I never have to go. And these men are coming to us, and they're coming to us knowing that we are open and living our lives. And how could they find us if we weren't open and living our lives? So I'm not centering the pain of quote unquote straight men. Y'all DL men are a part of our community. At the very least, you're the Q, you're queer, because yes, you're into women and trans women give women, but in my bedroom, we're having some queer sex, and it is what it is. I'm not ashamed about it. It does not make me less of a woman. And these DL men, and I'm talking about the DL men that mess with trans women, y'all need to own that y'all are part of the community, and it's been time for y'all to pull your weight. And I don't feel sorry for you if you're purposely going out of your way to pursue somebody that is open, living their life, that has done the work, and you get outed. In my opinion, that's just the risk that you take. And if you don't want to get caught, don't do it. Leave us alone. Leave us alone. If you're not ready, if you're not out to your family, if you're not out to your homeboys, who all of y'all are probably messing with trans women, but because y'all are not really in relationship with each other, y'all are keeping secrets from each other and all of that, that has nothing to do with me. Stop pursuing me. Stop. I can't even, when I was in Orlando, I can't tell you the amount of married men with no pictures, blowing my phone up. Y'all come to us, so you can't come to us and then cry when you get outed, when you're pursuing out trans women that are living their lives. Like, grow up. Grow up. It's time for y'all. We are in a new day and time. We're not living in the closets. We want to be a part of the world. We want to live regular lives, and being loved in the open is part of that. And y'all men are just going to have to suck it up and grow up and know you cannot kill and you can't violent your way out of the situation. You're going to have to deal with it. And I'm so happy that this Benzino situation is happening in the open, because it's forcing us to reckon with it and have this conversation openly and really see the stunts and the lengths that these insecure men will go to protect their ego, instead of just living in their truth and moving the fuck on. So again, my loyalty are to the black trans women and femmes who have been, like myself, who have been loved for far too long in the dark, and we're tired of the abuse. And we're going to have our peace at any means necessary. And anybody that can't deal with it, shut up and leave us alone. So that's all that I have to say. I hope Shauna continues to remain safe. I hope all of the trans folks around the world that happen to come across these cisgender men, and I'm gonna stop calling these men cishet, because you're pretending that you're cishet, but you're like cis queer. I'm not gonna call you gay, because that would mean that I'm a man, and I'm definitely like not that. I'm a woman. But if you're purposely pursuing trans women, post-op or pre-op or whatever, you have to admit that there's some queerness in you, and you have to come to terms with that. And that's just what it is. That's just exactly what it is. But that's all that I have to say. I want my community to have a safe summer, because we know the numbers go up in the summertime. And just continue to live in your truth, and continue to center yourself, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when people are telling you to not center yourself and not center your desires and because for so long we've had to be subservient to these men who don't give a fuck about us. You don't see none of these men in Texas and Florida, all of these trans amorous men that live in these states with these senators and representatives that are passing these transphobic laws, and crickets. And these men live right in these states, but yet we're the first ones to get up and defend them. I'm done. I told y'all I've been done. Let the Karens and the Exoticals save them. I told y'all on box number 512, season 1. I am done, because time and time again, they don't stand up for us. When it comes time to be honest, they call us men. They say that we're too much. They say that we're not real. They say that we are and I am done. I'm done standing up for them. And the men that rise to the occasion, that choose to rise to the occasion, that's who I am going to give my time and energy to. I'm not coddling these men. I'm no longer giving passes. And that's all that I got to say. I will see y'all on the next episode of Girl Down Podcast. If you have a response to this, make sure you email me at girldownpodcast@gmail.com. Also, be sure to rate and review this podcast and share this episode. And trans feminine community, it's time for us to center ourselves and prioritize our voices and experience. I love y'all. Bye. Thank you for listening to another episode of Girl Down Podcast with me, Aeon. If you like the show, please be sure to go on over to Apple Podcasts and rate and review this podcast. Also, make sure that you're engaging with me on social media. Also, if you have any inquiries or you want to send me any questions, be sure to email me at girldownpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, bye y'all.